In the new 2020 math curriculum, the strand identified as social emotional learning has taken research into social emotional learning and broken it down into ways that can be integrated effectively in mathematics instruction or within the mathematics classroom. These 6 points or six subgroups that we will be looking at are recognizing and identifying emotions that support mathematical learning. And this is really important because when we think of even zones of regulation, we think of um, what type of self-regulation zone will help us to be best suited for learning and deep critical thinking within the classroom. And so one of those is being able to help recognize that. Also, recognizing sources of stress that present challenge to mathematical learning. And so we do know that all students will experience, or we do experience, stress in the classroom. And being able to understand what is it that's creating these sources of stress will help us better be prepared, anticipate, and deal with them as they arise. Identifying resources and supports that aid perseverance in mathematical learning will be fundamentally important because this will allow students to be able to not only persevere but increase resilience and also be able to attend to tasks that have multiple layers or steps and less likely for students to abandon challenges that are require more of an investment in the solution. Building healthy relationships and communicating effectively in mathematics. We say this and we talk about this with our students daily. And what we can really do is now is we can help to give skills and practical and practice to students so that they can build these relationships within their peer groups and within their in their classroom that will help them to function as part of a team and also be able to communicate their thinking in a way that's um, deep and meaningful and also helps to again go back to that idea of as a source of stress being able to deal with that. Finally, developing a healthy mathematical identity through self-awareness and learning about each student, learning about themselves as a learner and in their strengths and areas that they pursue to focus on improvement and develop deep critical and creative mathematical thinking. And so these six categories will allow us to be able to break down into mini lessons where perhaps for the first 20 days of school and throughout the year following that, being able to touch on these specific SEL skills will help students to understand when they're doing them, performing them, how what it looks like when their peers are, and they'll start to realize that and develop how these skills are helping them to academically succeed and feel more comfortable and accepted and as a part of their class. So some of the different SEL focused skills that we will look at are like developing self-awareness and that self-identity, which ties into that framework that we saw. Recognizing sources of stress and cope with challenges. That might be one daily focus. Building relationships to communicate effectively. We saw how that also ties in, as well as identifying and managing emotions and building relationships to communicate effectively. So these little mini lessons, like we see in the Simcoe County resource, really help students to get explicit instruction, really get to see that they can look at the success criteria of what it looks like and how are they know that they can be measured and successful in that period. And it also allows them to build a foundation that they can practice and evolve on through each day and on through their years within their schooling. So I think this resource is one that everyone should have a good look at and see how they want to adapt and implement it in their own way to help meet these expectations that are in the new Ontario mathematics curriculum under the strand of social emotional learning.